negative side. Let's see, Econo Day, we ended up getting 50.1 on the ISM Services Index, and that was a little bit below the consensus range. The expectation was that we would be at 51.5. Prior read was 50.8, so the number a little bit down. Hot in New Orleans, refused to go outside. Julie, I don't blame you. It's one of the beautiful things about trading. We can do that from an inside air-conditioned office. Certainly one of the better environment jobs that you can be in. 79 in Grand Junction, heading up towards 100. Yeah, it's still warm. I mean, it is August, so we do expect those warmer temps coming in from Detroit, Michigan. All right, we are filling in.
Yeah, I will.
And let's see. So, Tom, how are you doing today?
Hey, hang on a second.
Sounds like he's having a discussion with Adam.
Is that my mouse or your mouse?
Mine, I think it's bad.
Yeah. Or
Clock is ticking. It always is.
all right, folks, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you, Tom.
All right, let's today's lesson is pretty exciting because it's really the essence of how to make a successful trade. And of course, there's risk involved in trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, the market's turnaround this morning will be short term, and you got to remember two numbers: 63.77, which was the high, and 62.39. That frames the first 3 days so far. With the S&P currently trading below the monthly open, you give it the benefit of the doubt in the soft today. But I really don't expect a breakdown much further than here. And I would use yesterday's pivot number as the next support, which is 63.06. But let's get into the slides. That's my opinion. Train and trade. What are we doing? Well, in train and trade, we're trying to educate you and find good trades to make. All right, we're going to look at right now, we're going to look at the tickers we have on our list for ideas. Remember, at the close of business today, we move outside the 3-day range. We got things happening. So let's just go through the E-mini. You got a 3-day high of 63. You got to update this.
This was updated 30 minutes ago.
Okay, so the high is 63.70. I thought it was 77.
7. Oh, this is day 1. Friday, this is day 2. And here's day 3.
Oh, there's a 77. Okay. The way you had it laid out confused me. Okay, that's fine. You got laid out by individual days, right? Okay. And the current price is E-mini is what?
63.42 as of 20 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago.
Can you update this thing where I got good prices to?
Sure.
Yeah, let's update it where everybody's got good prices to start, because that's important. Because you've had a big sell-off, you had a big rally followed by a big sell-off. Let's see where we're trading. And he's going to go through the process of updating this. Notice at the top, he's got it. Last was updated 30 minutes ago. So that gives us an idea of the weakness or strength in the current market.
Okay, updated.
All right, it's updated. S&P's at 63. 63.29 with a low of, what's the low of the day on the mini? $63.16. Okay. So the market's rallied back from lows and we're headed into the Genesis hour. So it's really going to set a tone. Okay. Now remember, the real update happens after the close. All right, 63.15, about 15 points off the low. All right, let's go down and look at a few stocks. Before we do, there's bonds. Look at bonds. Bonds, are they currently 116.02? Okay. Bonds are very positive, and looks to me like bonds are breaking out, which is what we thought that we were reading in the first couple of days about interest rates coming down. Bitcoin, I'll pass on it today, but TLT is a trade that we did in our connected dots. We did it for Friday expiration, not this Friday, but next Friday. All right, AMD. If AMD is at 174 and we look at the 3-day low and the 3-day high, you're a little bit less than the midpoint. But remember, AMD's got earnings this afternoon after the close. NVIDIA, been up to 183, low of about 174, it looks like, 174. Current price is 177. It's working its way back after being under pressure. Oracle's been stronger than really good, but it's pulled back now at 253 on Oracle, if that price is correct. Oracle is really went up this morning, made a new high at 258. Yeah. Okay. And then Microsoft, a little weak to the weak side, keep going down. Meta is at 770, went up, made a new high this morning. And what this is doing, the reason I'm going over this is it frames the 3-day high. So if Meta gets above 783, it's ready to rock and roll again. Same thing with NVIDIA. If NVIDIA gets above its 3-day high, then it's ready to rock and roll again. Doesn't mean you got to wait to that to get into it. It just means that's a surefire sign that August is going to be a good month for NVIDIA. All right, let's keep spinning. All right, and one sector is very firm today is your nuclear sector. There was some news coming out of the transportation department where they're doing a big contract, and that spreads to the other ones. Palantir, what can you say about Palantir other than just stay out of its way? It starts running, it just doesn't stop when it has a run day. Went up this morning, made a new high. And I mean, I just can't believe Palantir's at 174 when I just sit there and look at it, okay? That's a double. Hood is pushing its highs. Bitcoin is still consolidating. All right, and then we get into Dave. Looks good. Now, how you evaluate a stock right now is you look at where did it open the month at? Look at Reddit. Reddit opened the month at 182. Well, when was the month? Monday was the opening. Okay. And yeah, Friday. Yeah. So QQQ, if you look at the monthly open, it was at 558. So we're still above that. And the SPY was 626. But the general feeling that I have is that we're correcting after the big surge overnight and this morning. And, we just got to be a little careful. I'll study these things a lot closer after the close today, but we got the ballpark prices of where we are. Okay. And I think that's the good news. Yeah, last night Futures First, we went along the ZB, and so that that market is, but we'll make that trade over and over again as long as interest rates are falling. Okay. Now let's talk about today's focus, which is the trigger price, the all bets off number, and target. How do I set trigger prices? Number one, I need to know what day of the week it is. Today's Tuesday. So if I'm looking at Tuesdays, I want to be higher than Monday's high on a stock if I'm going to go long. And so I define the trigger as a price to take action. It's very simple. On Tuesday, Monday's high, Monday's low sort of sets the trigger price for that stock for the week. And so as we come into Tuesday and we go higher than Monday's high, then that stock becomes in play. Okay? That's very simple. That's very simple on the trigger. Any questions about the trigger price? Now, as you get further in the week, then I look at the range of 3 days, 4 days into Friday for the trigger price. Now, the target price, hold on, he's got something here I got to look at. Bullish trigger, bonus. And when I set a trigger, I prefer to buy at 11 or 55. Yeah, those are techniques that I use. If you see me put buy NVIDIA at 180.55, that means that I've set it over the halfway point and I use 55 to do that. Or if it's made a high, like at 30 or 40, then I might go up to the next level, which would be buy it at 176.11 or something like that. Okay. And there's an example of Oracle. If Oracle traded 254.80 and I'm looking to buy it, my trigger would be 255.55. Very simple technique I use all the time when I'm entering. Now, the bearish trigger is the low end of it. Okay. So if you take Monday's high, Monday's low, if you break Monday's low, for example, if I said to you, what was Monday's low on the S&P? Well, Monday's low on the S&P was 62.51. How do I know that number? Because I followed the S&P, and once I get the trend from the S&P, I go to these stocks, individual stocks. But we haven't been down to 62.51, have we? We're way away from 62.51. We're closer to the high, and that's where the midpoints become important. Now, an example, Amazon's at 211. I'm looking to go short. I'll set the trigger at 209.40. Notice I go below the half there with the 40 number, okay? And that's a bearish trigger. Okay, the all bets off number. You know, it can be all over the board, or it could be something simple as a 5-day low, or a 10-day low, or it could be below and close below the monthly open, depending on where time-wise you're in a month. Well, clearly, right now, a very key number in the early part of the month is that monthly open. If you're below the monthly open right now, you've got to assume that stock or that ticker is headed to the bearish side if you're below the monthly open. If you're above the monthly open, then you want to look at Monday's high, Monday's low. Then you want to look at a 5-day low, 5-day high. These are some of the techniques that I use to set my all bets off number. The only advice I would tell you, do it the same way, depending on the day of the week you're trading, and keep the process simple. And the other thing I would tell you, okay, honor it if it hits it. Don't talk yourself into believing it's going to stop falling if it hits your all bets off number, okay? Honor it. It's going to keep you in the game. Follow your plan. Now, the target. With options, I keep it simple. I use percentages. If I make 20% on an option, I usually take it. Now, once you get good at trading, maybe you take it in thirds, 20%, 40 to 50, and 100%. Maybe that's the way you come out of a trade. But when you're just getting started in options, I'd rather see a bunch of 20% gains than go up to 17% and then it fall and be worthless, okay? Your reference bars are going to be your key for intraday market timing. Your reference bars are going to be your clue, okay? And this right here is setting those targets. You know, after you've been trading, especially my style of trading, you'll get used to taking some off at 20% to 30, then you'll take some off at 40 to 60, and then you'll let some really go. I call it the tick trade trend. You get one of those trend trades, it makes you come back for more. And again, use time with options. If you're long options, 72 hours after being in there, either you need to get out of that particular ticker or you ought to do a hedge or do something with it. And the hedge could be a buzz fly or something like that if to reduce that risk if it's not going your way. Remember, options have limited time value. And if you use up the first 3 days and it ain't going your way, you probably got the trend wrong. That's a good way to think about it. Now, here is setting the trigger, all bets off, and target. General guidelines. 5-day high, 5-day low. We got tools inside the roadmap to give you all this stuff, so you don't have to do it. It just tees it up for you. Monday's high, Monday's low. 3-day high and low. That's a big number for the month. Month opens a big number for the month. Now, let's say that S&P, which it did, opened at 63.60. And we're staying below 63.60. You got to be real careful because you're below the monthly open. And are you near the 5-day low? That means you're going to probably make some new lows. That's the way you interpret that, okay? The week open, you start every week the same way with the S&P. It starts at 6 o'clock on Sunday night, and then you get into your reference bars. In buying, if you're buying, we prefer to get above the halfway mark and buy at 55. If you're selling, you want to be below the halfway mark and sell at 40. That's just the way I've always done it, and it works pretty good based on the results we've shown. Any questions what I just covered? I wanted to cover all bets off number, trigger, and I wanted to cover targets. That's the main thing. Do it as a process, okay? Sheba, what I do when I'm talking about the 3-day, I'm talking about the first 3 days of the month. That's for the entire month. Month open, high and low. That's the way I write it up on my book, okay? The 5-day low is a real quick and dirty way to keep me out of the noise if I'm making a trade. Now, this market in August lends itself for small price options. For example, you know, I've spent a lot of time trading that segment of the market, 25-cent options. Let me tell you, the reason I like trading that in August, because typically August you get a little bit both sides of the table, and you can make some pretty decent money using a 25-cent option. So I would tell you to learn about it. In fact, I've asked Adam, okay? I asked Adam to talk about the 25-cent option and play a tape for you. You'll be seeing me do several 25-cent options. I love the 25-cent option, especially when I get to August, because I bought one, I guess it was a year ago, for 25 cents. I was traveling down the road, Jennifer, in Georgia, headed home, and that option was trading anywhere from $3 to $4. Wouldn't y'all like some of those? We'll get part of it. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Adam. You got it. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to have a lot of information in TNT tonight with my assessment, and where we end up at the end of the day, nobody knows. But when we get the final print in, we'll have a good understanding of how this month's setting up. Y'all have a great day, and as I always say, see you on the flip side.
All right, folks, and welcome. What we want to do is, there's a lot of ways, and we talk about this in Train and Trade, about anywhere from 25 cents to $5, depending on the strategy or whatever you're using. And I love 25 centers because those are the huge gains. But let's go through this, and I'll answer any questions at the end of it. Thank you for being here, and we just really got you ready to go. Thanks, Buck, for saying that. Buck says he likes what we're doing today. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, folks. Chance to trade the 25 mid-year market pivot using the same method seen light and fast, doubles, even triples. You know, there's mandatory disclosure, profits and performance shown are not typical. Any individual subscriber make no future earning claims, and you know, you can lose money. From March 28, 2024, July 21st, 2025 on live trade alerts, 62 total trade alerts with 41 wins, 21 losses. The average trades we run and winners losers found was 2%. We cannot guarantee any specific future results as there's always a high degree of risk involved in trading. See our terms on the DTI homepage. Now, take a good look at that quarter. It might just be the most powerful trading tool in the entire market if you have the right timing. You see, what most folks are paying $500 or $1,000 or even more to trade popular stocks like Apple, Nvidia, or Microsoft. I've discovered a way to tap into what could be the cheapest options on the market. This is what I love about it. Love, love, love. Trade only costs 25 cents an option. And by entering on certain predetermined dates, we've been able to watch as these 25-cent trades double or even triple in what feels like no time. Like the quick double in November, 104% gain there, 182% gain in January, tripled in there in March, 214%. Telling you, you're going to love it. Now, I don't like to brag. I like to be confident, but this is hardly my first rodeo. In 1992, I was one of the only 50 professionals to be handpicked by the CME to receive my own Globex terminal, the front runner to electronic trading. Those were the days. And I even helped manage firms so successfully, it was eventually bought out by the 1.3 trillion institution, Morgan Stanley. And while I've been very selective about who gets access to these 25-cent trade alerts, our students have access to these 25-cent trades and are raving about them when they set up. Like John. I love the 25-cent trades for someone with a small account. Love the fact that I can trade more than a couple contracts. Makes it feel like Mr. Big. Or Jim T. Loves making money with the 25-cent trades. Did 400% on one. That's 5 times the original investment. Oh, Carlos May. These are hot little trades. Now, if you're trying to guess a specific opportunity behind the 25-cent trades, hang tight for just a moment, because we're not talking about trading penny stock. We're talking about big companies, public companies, and setups. We're not talking about risky earnings plays. Think about the people that got killed yesterday in Amazon. And certainly we're not talking about trading complex spreads, naked options, or anything like that. That's the beauty of it. As a matter of fact, each and every trade example was here today could have been taken any regular brokerage account. No specific heavy-duty lifting there. Trading most basic form of call options available, as long as the 25-cent trade is set the day before one of these predetermined dates. 5 big reports every month, and that's when the magic happens. And today I'm doing something that we actually never thought we'd actually do. You know, usually most people like me would never trade these options so cheap, but I figured out a strategy that works at selected times. And that's because these types of speculative options typically lose money for investors. But thanks to the recent discovery, led by myself and the help of 3 financial experts on my team, my whole perspective shifted 180 degrees. That's because only trading these 25-cent options on very specific predetermined dates, shot to jump in and really hit good. 78.3% hit rate according to the full back test. For example, like back in January. Now, if you're looking at the chart, the S&P 500 was roaring higher. I remember it. By mid-January, at new highs, and folks were left guessing if the breakout would continue or would make a natural pullback. Now, you could spend your whole time drawing all these chart patterns, calculating Fibonacci's, reading through endless inflation reports, or trying to guess what would come next. But on January 10th, none of that really mattered, because January 10th was a predetermined date marked down on the calendar. That's the beauty of this. You can plan this out. And as long as someone took 30 seconds to place a trade before the markets closed, a basic call option would work. 194% on that. Now, as great as that is, it gets even better, because the next day, on January 11th, was marked on the calendar too, 23% on that one. And here's what came next, 264% gain. This already gets your attention. That could have been enough to triple the investment on one trade. It wouldn't cost folks hardly anything to get in on the play. Say you start with a small $500 investment on 25-cent trades, you would have had $22.93 in profit. Might not sound like life-changing, but it sure is good, and it's something to go to. That's definitely no chump change either. As a matter of fact, the average Joe only brings in about $6,700 a month. That's pre-tax. Average monthly expenses for American families are hitting $8,454. It doesn't get any lower. And according to these statistics, the average American household starts each month minus $1,746 in the hole. Don't want to be that. Most people are sliding backwards financially. Here's two gains here, 194 and 264. You see they're huge percentage gains. That's the beautiful thing about scaling this. 22.93 in profit, just two of the trades that month. Keep in mind that we've seen 3 times the amount of opportunities in January, 4-digit wins there. Look at those gains. Wow. And now you probably wonder what exactly is going on. What are these predetermined dates that allows this kind of movement? Well, finer details on how these 25-cent trades work in just a moment. Plus a handful of you will be able to grab. This is what's great. Having this calendar in advance. All the predetermined dates are set to pay out big, and we'll reveal a top secret bonus trade that costs even less than 25 cents. Before we get there, I must be frank. Hey, I'm not typically a swing for the fences type guy. That's because, as you know, as I showed you, all trades have winners and losers, and typically even the best swing for the fences strategies out there take the biggest and most frequent losses. Now, if you know me, I don't like big risk. That's why I built my career focused on high actually opportunities, day in and day out, with my usual approach, targeting, just like yesterday, 10 or 20% per trade. And now that I've helped some top students reach jaw-dropping goals from my various research programs, here's some of the best stories. 135 by Manny O at his 5th win in trading. Or Laura, 2,200 in profit, using some of the most basic things she's learned. Denise said she's had nothing but winning trades. Way to go, Denise. Up until now, shooting for 10, 20 profits over and over again. Incredibly high win rate has been my bread and butter. But today I'm finally pulling back the curtain for a very different style of trading. Thanks to these predetermined dates, there's 5 of it in a month. Then you add in the Fed, get a few extra. While at the same time giving us unlimited upside on these short-term moves. Combination of win rate plus upside is in our back has shown the power to scale even a small account quicker than anything else I've seen before. And simply by following along with these predetermined dates listed on the calendar right there, these 25-cent trades have a chance to double, even triple extremely fast. For example, like the very next 25-cent trade opportunity in January, while most people are probably searching the internet to see some expert opinions on what the stock market would do next, anyone with their hands on the calendar could have ignored all that nonsense and glanced at January 17th predetermined date circled. That's what's the beauty of it. You plan your month. Click a few buttons in the account, set your trade, 101.8% gain on that one. This is not hard work, but you have to know the strategy and the times in the month when they set up. Just check the calendar, place the trade, as long as the trade was entered on the date listed on your calendar before the market's closed. You completely ignored what other people are doing. You're out there, tuned out the herd, just relaxed and enjoyed your life. Hey, there I am throwing a little football with my grand. Or going golfing in the evening. If everything worked out, watch the initial investment more than double, 24 hours. In this case, $2,500 on that one would have turned into a $5,000 profit. Now, I keep talking about these predetermined dates and how they give you the exact minute to get in and lock in what could be the double, even triple on these reports. Well, it's definitely what we're aiming for. I want to remind folks, we don't have a magic 8 ball. We can't predict the future. Just like with any strategy, there will be winners and there will be losers. So never bet the form. That said, there's a reason I tell my students to only take 25-cent trades on these specific dates. Take a look at that eye-opening graph. This is when the movement comes and the explosion happens on these reports. Looking at the S&P percentage movement every day for the past 10 years, plotted on the chart. Notice that chart. Each individual dot represents a single day. Now, between the two lines is the number of days where the S&P moved less than 1%. The majority of days, that's when you're going to lose. But when it moves outside those lines, most likely time for it to happen is on these big reports. That's when you're at. As you can see from a quick look, the stock market is flat about 70% of the time, and that's because most of the time S&P 500 is not a ton of market moving action. That means every 7 out of 10 trading days, the market's stagnant, options are eating time decay, and you're paying for it. Mercantile says 70.6.5% of options expire worthless. And now that if you've been trading or investing for a while now and have struggled to make consistent profits, this might be the reason. Or if you watch the markets go higher and higher all while your retirement account barely budged an inch, not because you're a bad trader, you just simply don't have the right information. The problem is the majority of the time, the stock market barely moves. That's what crushes most trading accounts. However, if you pay attention to this chart, you unlock this gold mine that I've discovered. You strike, and as soon as you'll see these dates when some of the biggest moves in the stock market are not random at all. In fact, they're all predetermined weeks in advance on a calendar just like this one. And on these predetermined dates, we've seen these inexpensive, dirt cheap options double, even triple, sometimes overnight. Just like in February, the biggest payday we've seen so far from 25-cent trade. And keep in mind that February, most of us are still holding their breath, waiting for the Fed to cut interest rates, still holding that breath. That's because for months Wall Street's been baking in interest rate cut. But the Fed had other plans. Typically, that news would make you want to sell your stock when they don't act. But then when it had the calendar, February 21st date circle, you would have been able to take this strategy to the bank. Because sure enough, the very next day, 391% gain. Take a look at that one. Now again, that's the biggest one we've seen so far from study. I remind you that no strategy is perfect. There's going to be big wins, small wins, and losers along the way. That's just how trading works. But today we're going to hold nothing back. We'll share with you every detail behind the back test we ran. The 25-cent trader immediately gets started on it because Wall Street thinks that monumental place. We found this strategy, this nice place that we can go to and become even more reliable than ever before. In a minute, I'll share exactly what I'm doing. But first, let me explain what's really going on. Every month, there's a handful of key reports published by the U.S. government that can move the market. Probably heard of them. Unemployment, we had that today. The next up on the agenda is CPI and PPI, then GDP, PCE, all that. And then if you have a Fed meeting, that's icing on the cake. Now, these reports are typically published in the morning before the opening bell. And as I'll show you, they're set up the most lucrative trading days we've seen all year long. Take a look at this 25-cent trade one day before these market moving reports hit the press. In a blink of an eye, just like that. Sometimes you get a double, triple on these reports. Take a look at the next 25-cent trade from the study market on February 28th. Paid 21 cents for that one. Got in at a discount, didn't we? That next morning at 8:30, just before the stock market was opening for a day, the jobless claims report was published. And by the time the opening bell rang, the S&P immediately shot higher, and 5,000 in shares. We're pocketing a nice 550 overnight. But if you took a 25-cent trade with the same starting state, look what you'd have made, $2,381 on the same direction, just using a smarter way to approach it with options. About 16 times better than buying the shares outright, and only 1/20th the cost per position. And based on what our beta testers have said, and even people that have been issued these trades, it doesn't seem challenging at all to take it. Like Tina and Peggy, who wrote the 25-cent trades, they love them, easy to get into, easy to get out to. You know when you're going to be out, have the money for other trades ready and available. Or Tim, who wrote in 25-cent options, low risk, but highly profitable trade, easy to understand. Let me show you another example. Same exact case with the next setup marked on the calendar, March the 6th. On March the 6th, folks didn't have much confidence in the stock market. The S&P 500, NASDAQ were all losing steam, falling north of 1% in a day. Sure, a lot of folks would have still cleared of stock market on a day like that. Hey, I'm unlike a lot of people. All you had to do was set a 25-cent trade on that day that the calendar so identified, and that would have given folks, gotten folks in the U.S. government published their newest jobless claims report the next morning, maybe grabbed a dinner with an old friend or relative. By the time the opening bell rang, pop, 134.7. Pretty cool. Now, we typically get a handful of these major economic reports each month. Each one presents a trading opportunity. The criteria that we've come up with works. In fact, these dates are so powerful they make up almost all the opportunities in the stock market. You're going to be shocked when you see this chart. Look at that chart right there. Most people know the S&P 500 is in a new bull market, an extremely hot run. But most people don't realize is, if you highlight these major economic report dates I've been talking about all day long, go where the action is. Let's remove those from market moving days. Chart becomes totally dismantled, going from unstoppable bull market to sideways action. Nothing. And as you can see, trading outside these predetermined dates is a dangerous time and a fast track losing money by buying options. If you're trading options, and by only isolating these explosive dates, that's where the money's made. And that's why I've developed a special calendar with all these dates mapped out in advance. You know when they are, you know when the setup comes, plus critical instruction on how to set the trades for optimum results. Be part of this program today and have total access to the whole world of trading small price options. And then all left to do, take a quick trade on the date shown if you want to, like this one here on July the 26th, a 54% gain, December 20th, 152% gain, or May 24th, a 334% gain. Oh, it's fun. That's $10,000, $867.50 in less than 24 hours. Now, can't retire on money with that kind of money. It would definitely be a nice buffer to pay off maybe a car loan, plan a next vacation, or just save for a rainy day. There's some serious financial cost here. You saw the way they're rising. It could have been listed in 24 hours. I have to admit, after seeing the power of these predetermined dates on the chart, you ought to see it too. That's where the action is. Almost seems foolish to trade any other way when you're playing this strategy. But now you might be wondering, can you go ahead and pick any option every time one of these dates pop up? Of course not, folks. If it were that easy, everyone would be doing it. You got to have all the pieces of the pie. My team has developed a very strict set of criteria to give you an edge on these market moving days. We filter out a lot of information, the week's open, the month's high, average trading range. Then we sort through the options to find the optimum expiration strike price, always around 25 cents per option. And then we set the trade with outline profit targets, stop loss levels ready to go. We do all the heavy lifting, and we take care of setting it up for you, teeing it up for you. All you got to do is take the trade. Actually, following along with the trade is no more difficult than riding a bike, using basic call or put options to access that direction, access it in your regular broker account, 401k or IRA. And I simply can't keep these 25-cent trades quiet any longer. Learn how to do it. Especially as we see huge market moving events multiplying before our very eyes. So from the private trade alerts for about this, we're actually outperforming testing so far. Monica wrote, she loves the 25-cent option plays. They're affordable, quick to produce, and usually give you 100% of profit. That's the goal. You're having big hits here. Like Doug, 400% gain on his, high reward, low cost of entry. Or David, here's another one. Pretty accurate. Quick, clean rewards. These are incredible stories. I can't wait to hear from the new traders like you to join today. See, there's a giant shift on Wall Street I firmly believe will make these opportunities more lucrative, and you really can't afford to miss this time around. First, if you'd like to be on the next 25-cent trade, plus access your copy at the password protected counter with all the dates listed. Let me hear from you this very minute if you're serious about doing it. Today, you could be on a few people that we're going to let into explosive 25-cent trades. Each, when they set up, we call it the 25-cent trader. Only place in the world I know that focuses on this segment of the option market, shooting for the next double or even triple. Once you claim the discounted spots, we've identified you, you're ready to go, you get in the channel, you're ready to go. Then we look at the next day, we're ready to rock, we're ready to roll all day long. And the same trades I'd recommend to anybody that wants to do this strategy. Inside the alert, you get everything I believe you need to place the trade. You see the date that it's identified. It talks about the report, when to get in, when to get out, the ticker that we're going to use, the analysis that got us here, plus the 25-cent option criteria. All you do, copy trade, have a shot at what could be the next great win. 180% gain, like January 31st, or 2,500 on this one. Yeah, $4,500 overnight. That'll make you smile. Now, you get your exit alert as well when we close out. That way you're never left in the dark. And make sure that you always get instant access to Signal. I'll be sending you alerts via email, cell phone, and telegram. 3 ways to make sure you get the trade. Now, whether you're at the beach with friends, out playing a little golf, talking at a seminar, you'll never miss out. You just want to place a trade before the market closes. That's the key, and then you're all set before that report. That brings me to the next piece of your membership. System is designed with very specific entry prices, stop losses, and profit targets. Always going for optimum gains while avoiding holding on the losers for too long. That's a big benefit. Come back to play again. I call it automatic exit plan with the 25-cent options. That way you set the trade, walk away to enjoy whatever you want to do, and even include exclusive information on automatically how to reduce your risk. But not just that. I know some of you might be new to trading. This is a great way to have some big gains to talk about. First of all, I want to rest assured that in 25-cent trader, we use the most basic form of options available. I usually don't use spreads, condors, or nothing like that. It's a straight out, let's get it. That said, I'm including a special trade. I'll teach you options all the way from the rookie level to pro level in case we want to use it. The course is called Options Made Simple, a course that we put together over about 6 to 8 months. It's the best course I know out there with strategies, how to tie the strategies to whatever is happening in the market. We give it to you as part of your subscription. There's a reason I included in-depth training. Since the 2020 pandemic, we've seen these major economic reports only more and more impactful, especially the higher you go. You see that, with the higher you go, you get more bang for your buck. And these predetermined dates have only gotten more powerful as time goes on. Well, I think Wall Street's got it figured out. That's why you're seeing them leverage short-dated options at a rate like any other time in history. And now most folks have no clue how to use their highly leveraged options. I'll show you how. And I'll show you how we can plan to use them to target doubles, even triples on these predetermined dates. Especially if folks have already seen the 25-cent at work. You become a believer real quick. Like Rhonda, 25-cent options and small account friendly, risk small, great reward. Or Bruce, 25-cent trade, less than 24 hours to see results. Fun to take a trade. Love the wins, keep it coming. According to Sue. You could charge anything you wanted to for this kind of membership. It's very detailed from that standpoint. The work is done for you. It's teed up for you. And you have to pass or say, I'm taking it. So what are we thinking on the price for elite membership? They want to go high, $69.97 per year. With the potential, it's there. Let's do something fun and cut the price in half to $34.97. Since we're live, I like to make things a lot more palatable when I'm live. It gets even better. There's some special bonuses lined up for new members. Join The lifetime elite member discount. Do it today. That's bonus number one. Lifetime elite membership, anybody that wants to take it, right here in the room. I'll knock off $1,000 off the price of the membership. So $34 for 1 year is a heck of a deal, but $24.97 for life is a steal. Drop that link, boys and girls. Drop that link. If you're one of our elite members here today, it won't run you $24.97. That brings me to my final bonus. Hit the ground running faster than you ever could imagine. $25 per maximum on these options. Or to get up on your feet, start a lap ahead of everybody else. Your first 50's on me, cuts the price down $1,250 more. This is lifetime. That's right, lifetime. $1,247, one price, and you're in for life. This deal is only good for members who jump in right now while I'm live. We're going to take it down. If you wait too long, you'll be outside looking in and past that first trade that we're going to do. You read my emails about epic results we're getting with new members. Do not procrastinate. Never procrastinate. Take one of the discounted memberships for yourself. Go to dtitrader.com/25cents, or you can call 904-706-3532 if you got any questions. Click the link in the chat. There it is. Special surprise for those that join today. dtitrader.com/25cents. Or you, like I said, you can call 904-706-3532. Again, $1,247 lifetime deal for elite members today. It's ready to go. It's ready to fly. Let's do it. Hey, I've done it, and I have to admit, it's pretty special to be a 25-cent trader. There's one I did right there, got in at $27.49, just to show somebody I was demonstrating how powerful they are. We're from 1166 overnight on that one. Starting right now, jump in. Don't wait. It's very, very weak. Don't miss a new trade this week. Go to dtitrader.com/25cents, or like I said, you can call. This is a lifetime membership. I want to do that. VIP, get on the same experience that some of our students have had. They love how quickly they work. 4x times 25, you can do the math yourself, according to what Dave said. Patrick loves these trades for a small account. 25-cent trades. Hey, this is pretty good stuff here. As Brian said, many more stories just like those. Go ahead and grab your 25-cent VIP trader, dtitrader.com/25cents. Got any questions, ask them now. I'll answer them. Ask questions about when we do it and how we do it. Every day you got a live room you can go to and ask about questions, the trades that we did, what happened and all that. Hey, let's answer some common questions. Question on how much money is it? Well, the trades are down at 25, the price of 25 cents for an option. Being able to pick those takes something special. $25 a contract. No strategy wins 100% of the time, though. You've got to be aware. But according to our test and the work we've done, be part of it. Profitable those that stick to the discipline. We can play the market either up or down. That's the beauty of it. And you're not holding long periods of time. You get your money back after about 72 hours. Can you trade this in IRA? Of course you can. It's retirement account friendly. Now what's the next one? Hey, you'll get that information when you join. Go to your membership, read the master classes. The 25-cent options are so explosive. Don't miss the next trade next week. Go to dtitrader.com/25cents, or you can call and get questions answered. Folks, you will find that 25 cents an option, you really get to have nerves of steel. It really, I've seen people do really well when they only got $25 exposed or a multiple thereof. Something about it. Hey, 10 contracts is only $250, right? Okay, there you go. Playing with the big boy. So folks, this is what we're going to do. I want you to get by. Anybody got any questions at all? We've been here all day with you today. I hope you take me up on this lifetime opportunity. in the 25-cent trader. I think you're going to find you made a good decision, number one. And I remember in August, I was driving back from Georgia, okay? And when I was driving back from Georgia, I had an option. I paid 25 cents for it. The sucker was $4.50 on the road. I remember going down the highway thinking, I need to pull over and take some profit on this sucker. Anyway, what size account do you need? Man, 2,000 is plenty. Think about how many options you can buy at 25 cents for 2,000 if you really press the bet. That's pretty good. How long do you stay in the trade? No more than 72 hours. No more. Win, lose, or draw. No more. If you know how to put in a call option, you know how to put in a put option, very simple when these set up. And you got the calendar to know those dates in advance. I'll be right there with you to go through it with you to make sure you get it, get you in, get you out, and do it. If you're new to trading, will it work for you? Absolutely, it'll work for you. Matter of fact, it's a great way to take a small account and grow it. 25 cents, that's not much, but I like it. You know, I wanted to do this because I typically will, you know, my favorite price option is about 3. I like $1 options with spreads and that kind of stuff, but 25-cent option, come on. Learning my technique, you've got the odds in your favor. I guess that's the best statement I can make about getting those odds in your favor. You saw what happened when you get that movement. If you get that movement, that's when you rack up. And the movement happens during usually one of those big reports, like we had today. If there's someone if needs help, is there someone standing by to help you? Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't leave you hanging. If you need help, we'll show you how it works. Pretty cool stuff, though, I can tell you that. You know? Any other questions? I know one thing. I think I might do one today, especially with what happened. Okay? In this market kicking them off. Let's look. It's a good time to do one. What do you think? Let's do one. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. And if you need help with the trade, I'll help you. I want to say, see you later on today. I'm here all day. What a start to the month. Avoid all this pain and suffering, right? Love it. And Amazon keeps going lower and lower and lower. I love that too, I'm sure. All right, y'all have a good day. See you on the flip side.